What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix deadline live stream. It is Saturday, April 19th. There is 1 hour to go until the Saudi Arabian deadline lock, and I'm almost ready. I've done 2 of my 3 teams. And yeah, it is go time. There is quite a lot to go around. I haven't seen any new sims from the F1 Fantasy Tools Discord. It looks like Ryder is going to put some up. So when that happens, the columns on the right hand side of the screen right now will be a little inaccurate. But this one right here, price rise percentage, that is not max price rise like it usually is during deadline live streams. That is just the driver's percentage to go up in points. So just or budget just this week, but the teams down here, that is max price rise. So I put out a little bit of a message saying get your questions in nice and early. So let's go through some. Jack, if using Limitless in Miami, is Mercedes to Alpine and doing to Russell a good move this week for budget gain next week? Yes, it is. Austin, hey you, and I'll be driving and listening in. I have Norris on one of my teams, so is it best to keep him and do McLaren / Alpine with Gasly, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, or is it safe to keep Merck, also Limitless in Miami or Imola? With Norris, Austin, I don't think it's a bad option to go with either of them. And looks like Alpine is going to have a pretty bang-up weekend. Looks like they're set to rise again in Miami, which I can show you over here, although I know you are listening in. Let me find this here. So right now, F1 Fantasy Tools Discord, or F1 Fantasy Tools, is predicting Alpine to get about 22 points this week. That's their expected price total, which means they will need negative 13 points in Miami to continue their price rise. So if you are on Limitless, that is a great option. I don't really mind going Mercedes either. They're set to rise. They're going to keep scoring points, barring like a DNF or something like that. So you shouldn't be all that mad. All these graphics I'm going to show you here with this future price rise stuff are from the great Pat on F1 Fantasy Tools Discord. So once again, shout out to Pat for doing fantastic work in the F1 Fantasy community. Hopefully that helps. Austin, Adam says, what about pulling a double A-tier driver with McLaren, Haas, and using 3 DRS? Man, that is some spicy meatballs there, Adam. Depends who the drivers would be. But if it was double McLaren, I don't hate it, but 3-point scoring sessions for a weekend might be kind of nice, especially because you wouldn't be relying on budget. Like the teams that are playing Limitless are kind of relying on the underlying budget squad. So the extra DRS boost is a little bit more optimal for me, at least in a 3-point scoring session. Let's see here. Eric says, I have 3 free transfers. Current budget 108 on T1 with Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Doohan, Hadjar, Haas, McLaren. Should I jump on the meta or Limitless? I wouldn't Limitless this weekend. I feel pretty strongly about not limitlessing. That's a word. This weekend, just because the field is a little bit too jumbled up. I can't tell who the second best team is. I'm just kind of riding Mercedes in my T1 squad. Like you can see here for now, but I don't think I'll be kind of getting away from them this week. Like Ferrari looks like they're struggling. Yeah, not all that great, unfortunately. So I'm not sure if the Limitless in Saudi Arabia has really come to fruition. Warpjaw says, thinking Limitless at Miami is a risky play to go in this week with Doohan, Bortoleto, and Ocon and Gasly. Is it a risky play to go in this week with Doohan to Bortoleto and Ocon to Gasly? So that is kind of where I'm leaning, Warp Job. I'm thinking over here, a little Ocon to Gasly action. That's why I'm repping the Alpine. I actually had this whole phrase in French that I was going to try to pronounce, like J'adore Pierre Gasly, but I just kind of figured that was not my terrible accent. I took French in high school. It has all left my brain. But yeah, Ocon to Gasly is a pretty easy move. And the only thing is, Doohan is set to fall. And there's a world, I've been really kind of touting rolling a transfer all week and having 3 in Miami. But there is part of me, F1 Fantasy Tools doing, or F1, not F1 Fantasy Tool, F1 doing that weird thing where you can't actually get a driver in. I'm thinking about this, guys. I'm thinking about the double move for Alonso and Gasly in Saudi Arabia. Alonso hasn't been too bad. And then if we look at this qualifying simulation pace here from the practice debrief on F1.com, Aston Martin down here at the bottom. You love to see it if you're an F1 fantasy sicko like the rest of us are. And then race simulation, a little bit better. And Fernando Alonso has had a podium here 2 seasons ago. I think he was 5th last season. So he has a history with the track. He's experienced, probably not going to clip the wall. Hasn't been awful in the practices either, as we can see here. Where is this? This is practice 1. But practice 2 last night came in 15th, which is not awful for him. And then where was... I swear there was practice 3 on here. Let me refresh this. There we go. Practice 3. We've got Fernando coming in here 14th. So it's not great, but it's not miserable. And I'm kind of thinking, so here are the odds. Let's go to the required points here. Is it out of the realm of possibility that Alonso finishes in the points? I don't know. It feels like it's more likely for Alonso to get 3 points than Jack Doohan. Although Alpine do look okay. But I think Doohan is eventually going to start falling a little bit more, whereas Alonso here, as you can see, another excellent Pat graphic. If he scores 2 points as predicted this weekend, 14 points in Miami. Not too bad. But say he scores the 9 to get up to a 0.2. Just needs 10 next week. And that could be kind of a pretty nice world where Alonso is on track to rise during a Limitless situation. So this double move has entered my thoughts over the last 24 hours here. But Warp Job, I do like those moves that you were suggesting. Martin Philip Kessler says, hello, what are your thoughts about your lineup this week? I just went over them, so hopefully that made sense. Goat Brady says, I have 109.5 in budget. Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, plus McLaren, Mercedes on my team. Quite happy with my drivers. Do you think McLaren to Ferrari is worth it for potential few extra points? I do not. I do not, Goat Brady. I'm a little worried about Ferrari. The vibes are bad. I know it kind of came together a tiny bit on Sunday last week as well in Bahrain, but something seems off with that car. Leclerc was like, I've pushed it to the limit. That's as fast as it goes kind of thing. So I don't love that. Sprout, hi, ran medal last week. Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, Doohan, McLaren, Mercedes. Think of going Ocon to Gasly and Doohan to Bortoleto, but scared of Bortoleto DNF. Cannot put in Alonso, 107 million. Thoughts? 3 transfers from Miami for flexibility. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Bortoleto. He was complaining about the engine in FP3. In FP2, he didn't even get on the track because they had a fuel cell, survival cell leak or something, so he didn't get any time out on the track. The vibes are bad. I think I'm off Bortoleto, which I was high on Bortoleto for quite a majority of the week, but it seems like things are going not well, and I'm not trying to take a negative 20. I'd rather kind of go for it a little bit here. I can't play Limitless this week. I think I've got a little bit of a itchy trigger finger a little bit, so I want to make a slightly bold move and do a double move like this, Sprout. But yeah, I think I might be off on Bortoleto. There are 200 people watching. That is fantastic. We are 10 minutes into the stream. There are 200 people watching. 20 likes. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe to the channel. You can like the video. And on these live streams, I am always shooting for 50% of the people watching to hit the like button. So if you can do me a favor and do that, I will answer your question for the next 51 minutes and hit me that like button. I would really appreciate it. Mac Attack says, what up? What is up, Mac Attack? Oh, there's a lot more people in here, so there's a lot more questions. I wish I had a little bit more budget to put Gasly in since he has been cooking. He is in the kitchen. Le chef. Shea Gasly is up. Saif, hey, how's it going? I have Piastri, Russell, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes, and Haas. Any suggestions where I should use Limitless or maybe keep my team as is? I can't afford McLaren as my constructor. I don't think you need to Limitless. I think you're fine there, Saif. Yeah, it's tough, but it's a pretty good budget building squad. Can you tell me who will DNF in the race? Hopefully none of the 5 drivers I have or any of the drivers in the 2 teams that I have. And that's about it. That is as far as I can go, Nixie, but hopefully that helps. Also, Alpine seemingly has pace, but Doohan hasn't been able to find it, so it's still a toss-up for me between Doohan and Bortoleto. Stanley says, hi, everybody. Colin says, my lineup last week, Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Doohan, Hadjar, McLaren, Haas. Changes this week. Doohan to Russell. Do you think that is good? Instead of Haas to Mercedes. Yes, I love that move, Colin. That is a great move. Rain just hit his highest ever viewers and hit 2.5 subs. Congrats to Rain. That is huge. Yeah, we just did that here like a couple of weeks ago. So I guess we're neck and neck a little bit in subscribers. But yeah, great channel. I saw he had like another stream last night that had like 1.7 viewers or something. Just the lust for F1 fantasy content is fantastic. But yeah, Rain, that is well deserved. So congrats to him. I'd be watching his stream if I wasn't doing my own. So yeah, I appreciate anyone that is over here. Hey guys, hello, Michael, Angel. Avin Christ says best second A-tier constructor. I still think it's Mercedes. I'm not trying to flip around and use a free transfer to kind of go through Ferrari pain or whatever. Augustinus 10 says, hello, do you think going Limitless in Saudi with McLaren, Mercedes, Ocon, Behrman, Doohan, Hadjar, Piastri is bold move since Doohan looked pretty decent in practice? If not, what should I change? I have 2.6 million in budget. Love the stream. I'm kind of off of Limitless, Augustinus, for this week. Maybe I will rue that advice, but that is where I'm at right now. I don't think it's going to work for me this week, and I'm not entirely sure if it would work for other teams here. Let me just talk you guys through what I did with my T3 and my T2 squad. So over here, I had Doohan and Haas, and I swapped them out for Gasly and Alpine. So I'm kind of exposed to some Alpine love over here with my T3 squad. Use both free transfers. I like this squad. It kind of sets me up pretty nicely for Limitless next week, because if we show it over here, Alpine, if they get that expected points number, they're going to rise in Miami, barring any DNFs. So I like that. That's where I went with my T3 squad. T2 squad, I had Antonelli in here and Racing Bulls. So Antonelli down to Bortoleto and Racing Bulls up to Mercedes, kind of going to the template here. So this is kind of what my T1 squad would look like if I just do one transfer. So there is a part of me that's like, we should shake things up with the T1 squad. Formula Bean says, hello. Sammy Dog says, what up, Ewan? Nothing much. What's up, Sammy? McLaren, and then 2 is difficult. Peter says, want to make only one change. Drop either Doohan for Alonso or Bortoleto, or drop Ocon for Gasly. I think I'm leaning Ocon for Gasly. Yeah. I can't tell if I'm going to make both moves, but I think the priority transfer is Gasly. The dude is flying right now. It's really hard to resist going with Pierre Gasly. Tommaso Salvadori says, I have McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, Bortoleto. Plan is to sell Ocon to Gasly and Limitless in Miami. I love it. On board with that. I've been so tempted to punt a Limitless for my T2. There is an expected 1 million rise, and I don't think there would be much better price rises. Do it then. Yeah, I like it. Is Ferrari an option over Mercedes this weekend? I don't think so. I'm a little bit off of them. Adam says Gasly or Ocon. I'm leaning Gasly. Saksam Anad says Ocon needs 10 points for a price rise of 0.2, but if he gets 1 point, he'll get a negative 0.2. So if he gets more than 1 point and less than 10 points, what will his price be? It will go down 0.2. So it's pretty much, if he gets to 10 points, he will rise, but anything below that, he will get a negative 0.2 million price decrease, Saksham. Hopefully that answers the question. Should I take the risk of changing the template to take Red Bull for Mercedes? I don't know. I don't think so. As much as I think we all get hyped in this last hour, the last couple of hours before team like lineup locks and stuff like that. Maybe I'm doing the same with the Alonso and Gasly move that I'm thinking about here. It is still just the 5th race of a 24 race season. So we're really going to like pick and choose our battles. The thing for me with doing an Ocon here, and I can show you with these fantastic pat graphics. So as you can see here, Ocon, if he gets his 3 expected points in Saudi Arabia, then he needs 15 in Miami, which is possible because it's a sprint weekend. La-di-da. Behrman is pretty much a lock. Like, he gets 2 points this weekend in Saudi Arabia. He only needs 6, so he'll be staying in my squad. Doing, though, this is tough. If he gets the 0, it'll be really tough for him to rise in Miami. And as you can see here, he'd be 5 million after Saudi Arabia. And yeah, it wouldn't be, it's not looking too good for Jax. But with Fernando, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like he could make his way up the field. I'm kind of vibing with Alonso a little bit. Gasly, 10 points. That means he did 11 in Miami. With the way he's driving and the way that car looks like right now, I have no qualms about that. Hadjar should be okay for a price rise, even though he's only expected to score 0 points right now. So nothing too bad. Kobo says this track requires experience due into Alonso for me. Yeah, I agree. That's the thing I'm very scared about with Bortoleto, because he missed out on a whole hour in FP2 in representative track conditions. It probably means he's going to easily go down to, like, he'll probably finish 20th in qualifying, which is okay, which is fine. But I don't know. I feel like there's a negative 20 incoming for Bortoleto. So I'm a little bit inclined to shake it up and do a different move now, because the vibes have been off with that car. Zakacha says, have the template of last week. I really like Ocon to Gasly, but after, is it worth swapping Doohan for Bortoleto or rolling transfer? Also worried about a potential DNF for Bortoleto. Yeah, I might just, if you can't go Doohan up to Alonso, I don't know if I hate Doohan just sticking with him. Like, it is a pretty big risk. It's like he's likely to fall this week. He would need a pretty good weekend. He needs 8 points to avoid a price drop. We have some new simulations here from Mr. Ryder on F1 Fantasy Tools Discord. So let's check these out real quick, shall we? Okay, so I gotta find the actual browser so that I can look at this stuff. So Norris and Piastri have kind of stretched their lead over the rest of the field, 34 and 32 points here. Gasly's at 9.6, Alonso's at 2.3, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Ocon's at 3.5, so that's kind of closed the gap a little bit between him and Gasly. Brings it down to 6 points. And then also, if we see this as well, open that in the browser. Can I open the link? Okay. It's going to be difficult. That's fine. But yeah, new sims out here on F1 Fantasy Tools Discord. Let's make that bigger. So Gasly is at 44% still to price rise. Ocon's at 28%, 48% to fall. Gasly's at 32 or about 56% to fall, and Ocon is at 72% to fall. So it's really tough. It's really close. I didn't watch practice. What are the main takeaways from all practice sessions? Papaya is absolutely storming Jeddah. Bortoleto has a tough time. Alpine looks good. Williams looks really good as well. Another reason that I wouldn't go limitless this week, guys, is because like Alpine, Williams, they could be in the mix, like kind of stealing some random points from the top teams. Sonoda, Antonelli, like they could be in danger. Like we could see a Williams or an Alpine in the top 7, top 6 if something happens, like with a dejected Hamilton or something like that. That could be the same thing. Angel says, running the exact same thing you have on screen, thinking about swapping Doohan for Bortoleto and keeping 3 transfers, or use both transfers and swap Ocon for Gasly. What do you recommend? Thank you. I think I'm recommending right now at least getting Ocon out for Gasly, and I can't tell about Doohan. There's part of me that is maybe wanting to switch it up and keep Doohan. However, that probably puts me in a bad situation to possibly play the Limitless in Miami. So there is a little part of me there that is apprehensive about doing that as well. And then Imola and Miami are really close in my head right now to be playing the Limitless chip. So I gotta figure that out over the next 39 minutes. If to vary, I want to switch Mercedes. Is it better to go Ferrari or Red Bull? I'd go Ferrari there. Madalena, Zakacha, Doohan also got 7th in sprint and 8th in race in his first year at Saudi. Yeah, he's had a pretty good history here, and it looks like he's kind of been growing into the weekend. Like if we look at his results, so Doohan was 15th in practice 3. Last night he was 17th, but he has like kind of had some good time. Like I watched practice 2, I watched practice 3, I watched practice 1, and like there are faster cars on track, but Doohan is still like putting in pretty good times there, so I don't really mind it. Prithvi says, should I take the risk of changing the template to take Red Bull for Mercedes? I don't really like that. Unfortunately, Pat is goated for real. W Pat. Yes, Pat is the bomb. Love that. I am seriously falling behind on question. Okay, Benaz, I got Piastri, Russell with Alpine with 3 times DRS for my team. I just want to make something different, but I think it makes much more sense. Yep, perfect. Gasly, Albon, or Bortoleto instead of doing Gasly. Raj says, is Alpine good for 2 in a row max rise? I think so. Yeah, we can look at them here, where they go. If they score their 22 expected points, they need to score negative 13 in Miami, so they should be good to go. Jamie, Alonso or Doohan, possibly holding Alonso for 2+ races. I think I'm leaning Alonso. There, Jamie. Good question, though. If you're on the meta team, should I do Doohan to Bortoleto, Alonso/Lawson, or Ocon to Gasly? I really ideally wanted 3 transfers in Miami, to be honest. Then I would do Ocon to Gasly. Racing Bulls to Haas. It's a pretty sideways move, but it's not the worst move in the world. Let's see here. Where are we going? Saudi Arabia. Expected points here. Yeah, that's a pretty sideways move. Haas is better set for price rises over the next couple of weeks, but it's just 9 points in Saudi Arabia. You can get that with some overtakes, maybe a couple positions gained, and then 5 in Miami. So I wouldn't be too worried about RB. I don't think it's worth using the transfer to swap between Haas to Racing Bulls. P-Win says, I'm on meta template from last week. What do you think if I switch Ocon and Doohan to Alonso and Gasly? I love it because I'm also considering that myself, P-Win. Same T1 squad, should I do Red Bull plus Gasly, but with a negative 10 points? Oh, I don't know about that. Is that to get Mercedes out? Because I think I would just keep Mercedes over Red Bull. Sammy says, F2 is over, hard to overtake. Thank you, Sammy. Good info. Not bad. That's good to know. I'm looking to just keep Piastri, Behrman, Hadjar, and Ocon with McLaren and Haas, and only swap Doohan for Gasly and keep 1 transfer going into Miami. I like that, Cody. That's a great idea. If not using Limitless on Miami, then when? Possibly Imola, possibly Monaco, possibly Spa. But yeah, Imola is kind of shaping up to be my pick just because it's coming after a sprint in Miami. So I can set it up next week and then still adjust if I need to. I'm not in a super big rush to play the Limitless chip yet. I have not already used Limitless, Racing Bulls, or Haas. I prefer Haas, but I don't think I'd use a transfer to swap them out. Alonso is capable, but that car is a dog. I don't trust it. True, but I also don't trust the Sauber. But Aston Martin are garbage, so I have no faith in either of their drivers' ATM. Yeah, that is also. I choose to apply the don't trust in Ferrari. Always a good motto. Beatriz, Miuni, Gamma says Sprout. That's exactly what I did. Agree on board a little worried about DNF, especially with this track. Alpine looking better than either Haas or Racing Bulls this weekend, and they're cheaper. Yep, I agree. So no Bortoleto? Oh, I don't think so. I think I'm kind of avoiding Bortoleto. Should I take the risk of changing the template to take Red Bull for Merc? Help. I don't think so. I don't think I would. Transfer Ocon to Gasly, thinking about Limitless in Miami. I like that. Yes, Gasly should be fine as long as there's no DNFs here. Are 3 transfers in Miami important? I would like them to make myself more flexible. Like, we're going to get sprint qualifying in Miami before we have to lock in our squads. So having 3 transfers to kind of adjust to the template or set ourselves up for potential budget risers in Imola or reacting to what happened in Jeddah, that is always nice as well. But it's not essential. It's just kind of a nice luxury to have. Bortoleto for Alonso, more safe? No, I think it might be. Like, it might not be the best budget move, obviously, because Bortoleto can't go down. But there is a world where Alonso rises, and then it's like, oh, we missed the boat on Alonso. Because the thing is, if I do the double move with Gasly and Alonso, I'm maxed out on budget, but then I also have them in my team no matter what happens. So I don't hate that either. Alvin says, I only have Bortoleto on one team because I'm scared of DNF. I agree. Gasly is cooking, but can he be a 21-point chef? I don't think it's a max rise we're looking at with Gasly. Obviously, that would be very handy. Let me see if we've got this updated here. Team calculator. Is it a whole new sims up here? Saudi Arabia post FP3, force no transfer penalties. Lock in McLaren. What is it saying about my team? Maybe just Gasly. Gasly Alonso actually lowers my expected points and my expected price rise. So I don't like that all that much. So it might be Gasly. Might just be Gasly's the move. But yeah, Doohan is looking okay. Maybe we can get away with Doohan. Oh, it's going to be... Shahan says, shout out from Sri Lanka. Love the content. Cheers. Thank you, Shahan. Really appreciate it. And yeah, there's 260 people watching this, and we're at 70 likes, so I appreciate every single like. But like I said, 50% goal, and if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. Helps me out a ton. I would really appreciate it. We're very close to 2,800 subscribers, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Been an insane season, and thank you to whoever just dropped in that super chat. I will get to that. Where'd it go? I'm Cash Conovan. I'm 9,000th, 0.46% in the world, and still somehow second in my fantasy league. WTF, there is no money on the line. I'm also in a league of 3 people, but thank you, Cash, for your super chat. Really appreciate that. Let me know your lineup. Where did you go right? Did you use no negative in Australia, that sort of thing? But yes, I will heart that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But yeah, 9,000 after 4 races. That's awesome. So you are going to crush it this season. Heli, thank you very much. Wow, that is greatly appreciated. I really appreciate everyone. Definitely not necessary, but always appreciated. Heli Franchi says 3X makes sense this week with Russell and Piastri, Mercedes, and Alpine. The problem with 3X, I would say, Heli, another super chat donation. Thank you so much. That is very, very appreciated. I just like the 3X a little bit better in a point scoring or in a sprint weekend, because 3-point scoring session is like, that's one more session to score points. That makes sense, right? Whereas the Limitless is a little bit more like we're looking at deltas, what's different here, but the 3X chip is kind of like you can play it in a weekend and it's fine. So I don't really hate it this weekend. Russell, Piastri, I'd love it if you could afford Norris and Piastri, obviously. But that's where we're at. Salvador says, if I can't have Mercedes, which other team? Alpine or Haas, probably, if you're going budget building. Sachin says, Piastri, Hadjar, Doohan, Stroll, Ocon, McLaren, Mercedes, Stroll to Behrman for sure, but Ocon to Gaz or Doohan to Bortoleto. I think I'm going Ocon to Gasly. Is keeping Doohan instead of Bortoleto a bit risky if Limitless in Miami? I think it is. That is correct. It is a little bit risky. As you can see here, he's going to need 16 points in Miami. But has Alpine turned a corner? That's what I'm like desperately grappling with right now. And I'm not entirely sure. Like, they could surprise us. They really could come and like surprise us a ton. Oh, sorry. Yes, I saw that super chat. Sorry. Thank you, Haley. Appreciate that. Mr. Iceman says, hello, everyone. Surely Limitless in Miami with those moves. Maybe. It could be on the cards. It could be on the cards. I can't lie. Antonelli and Hamilton look off it. I'm not confident they hit Q3. I'm a little bit worried about that as well. That's why I wouldn't play Limitless this week, Nixie. Tommaso says, I have McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, Bortoleto, plans to sell Ocon to Gasly and Limitless in Miami. I kind of like that. Doing or Bortoleto? This is the problem with the 2025 version of F1 Fantasy, is that it's a little bit of a maths problem, and I just wish it was more based on what's happening on track, because that is such an easy answer if we're just going off of performance. It's easily doing. But with Bortoleto not being able to sink any further, it's really annoying, because I think he has a pretty high chance of a DNF this week, or probably the highest chance in the field outside of just like a random crash in the DNF world, because of this. Like, he was complaining about his engine, complaining about he missed FP2. It just feels like we're gonna like get into the formation lap, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna have to retire the car. Paolo says, I got 2 transfers, doing to Alonso and stay with Ocon for 3 transfers for Miami. I like Ocon for Miami. He has more potential for overtakes, I think. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry for the gulping. My wife calls me Glug Glug. But so do most of my friends whenever we are chit-chatting on whatever we're talking on. So I don't know why, but I drink quite loudly. Javi says, Ryder Sims are up. Yep, thank you, Javi. Appreciate that. Out of Alonso, Gasly, and Hadjar, which one is priority transfer? Because I can't afford all 3, maybe 2, and then Bortoleto/Doohan. I think Gasly is at the top of my Christmas list right now. Josh says, Racing Bulls, Antonelli, and Doohan to Behrman, Gasly, and Alpine. Love it. Yes. Great job, Josh. Raj says, is Alpine good for 2 in a row price rise? Yep. Alvin says, I used Limitless in one team because it was a good opportunity. I didn't need to change my lineup for optimal budget, and I plan on using a different week for Limitless for each team. I like that. I like that a lot, Alvin. Zakacha says, is Hadjar potentially a sale because of the race pace? I think there's just more fires to put out than Hadjar. If that's your only fire, then that's fine. But that wouldn't be a priority transfer for me, Zakacha. What about Bortoleto, Hadjar, Behrman, and no negative chip? Ooh, I have seen... Who played the no negative chip? Someone was in... tweeted me on Twitter. Yes, that is where that happens. And they were doing the no negative with like Lando and Oscar and Alpine and Haas or something like that. So I didn't hate it, but I just really do want to save that no negative chip for weather. Hey, just woke up on the West Coast. Who looked better, Ferrari, Mercedes? Also, do you think Yuki will be in top 10? All very close calls, EDP. I think it's just a wash between Mercedes and Ferrari. I have no desire to kind of use a transfer to flip and flop between them. And then also, do I think Yuki will be top 10? Probably if he can get into Q3, but it might be a challenge if he doesn't, just because like he had that crash and I don't know. There's something about Yuki and Hamilton this weekend that doesn't seem right. Alberto says, I've got Piastri, Sainz, Hadjar, Gasly, Doohan, McLaren, Williams debating if I hold strong for 3 transfers next week or swap Sainz, Williams for Behrman, Alpine. Any suggestions? Anyone? Ooh, I think I would get Williams out there. Sainz looks pretty good, but yeah, I like those moves. Doohan, Alonso, or Bortoleto? Bortoleto for budget. Alonso long-term, Doohan short-term points. Connor says, just stumbled upon the channel, enjoying the content so far. I've got a budget strap team, late to the strategy for F1 Fantasy. Thinking Doohan to Gasly, should I also do Ocon to Bortoleto? Yeah, that is fine. I'm thinking about doing very similar moves. Gasly and Mercedes or Russell and Haas, ready for Limitless in Miami? If it's only about Miami to grow budget, I would probably go Russell and Haas. Sachin says, great thoughts and content. Appreciate it. Colin says, I'm now thinking about Ocon to Gasly as my second transfer instead of going into Miami with 3 transfers. I am also in that boat with you, Colin. Guillermo says, where can I see the graph to the possible points for Miami, Imola, etc.? Get in the F1 Fantasy Tools Discord, Guillermo, and then go to Analyst Chat and search for Pat. And if you guys want to get the premium version of F1 Fantasy Tools, you can use promo code UN50. That will get you 50% off your first month. But since we are in the last part of a triple header, may I suggest waiting until May 1st, and then you'll get 4 races in your first month. So that would be kind of handy. So yeah, in a couple of weeks, you can use that promo code. What about no negative? Possible, but it's just always one of those things where it could just be a very clean race, very hard to overtake. No one is like within it would all be like lap 1 chaos kind of stuff, I believe. I meant second in for real for doing. Yeah, I'm not sure, Zakacha. I'd have to go find your. If you ask it the question again and complete, I'll be able to answer it here. What about no negative? I don't love it, Beatrice. I don't love it. Just, I know it's a tight track, but these are the 20 of the best drivers in the world. Like, things can happen, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Luke says, hi, just tuned in. What do you recommend for Limitless? If you have to play Limitless, if like, this is it for you. Norris, Piastri, McLaren, Leclerc. I think I still got to go Verstappen. And then just for the upside play, I would go McLaren and Ferrari. That's what I would do. Did my transfers earlier this week to let go a bit backfired, and now I'm more anxious. Probably will Limitless Imola riding Miami points. I like it, Urisoto. What was your team? I'm worried about Gasly qualifying too high again. Yes, agreed, Formula Bean 10. However, it's a pretty tough overtaking track. Saudi Arabia is the 6th lowest track on the calendar for overtakes. I use Limitless, Ferrari or Mercedes. You know what, guys? Let me get this going for you here, because you can do this. Let's see what the Sims say. McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Piastri, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc. I think it was pretty spot on there. 287.6 points. So not too bad at all. What is the budget amount where prioritized budget starts to become the way to go? 103, 104 million. I think I'm still trying to, in a way, prioritize budget as well, and I'm at 107.3 million. I think it still needs to be a pretty big focus of us. I know some of us are like, I'm kind of on a points building thing now as well, but at the same time, I'm not totally avoiding budget at all. So that's where I'm at there. Think of keeping doing just to keep an extra transfer. I'm kind of in the same boat there, Fuma. I'm building budget, so Ocon versus Gasly and Doohan versus Bortoletto. Whom will you choose? I think I go Gasly. I'm not entirely sold on Ocon this week. Mercedes plus Gasly or Alpine plus Russell. Planning on Limitless in Miami. Alpine plus Russell then, if that's your plan. Don't have enough for Meta, Mercedes, McLaren. So it's Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Gasly, Hadjar. Gasly with McLaren has a smart move. I don't mind that at all. 981 Ranger. Yep, that's a good move. I have Norris, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoletto, Doohan, McLaren, Mercedes. Would you switch Norris to Piastri and SBD else? That's a great squad. I don't think I'd change all that much. Because you're kind of reworking the team if you go Piastri, or Norris to Piastri. Yeah, I think Norris and Piastri are going to be fine. You might have the 3 highest scoring assets in the game there with Norris, McLaren, Mercedes. Not the worst thing in the world there, Max. I'm really unsure what to do. Current team, Piastri, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman, Doohan with McLaren / Mercedes. If I pick up Haas, I should exchange Doohan for Russell, possibly setting up Limitless. I like that a lot, Mitchell. That's what I did in one of my squads. I think it was my T3 squad. Ocon to Gasly or Racing Bulls to Haas? Ocon to Gasly. Gasly versus Ocon, I'd go Gasly. Gasly versus Ocon, I'd go Gasly, or Limitless, Mercedes or Ferrari. I think I am leaning a little bit towards Ferrari there, just because I'm not sure about Antonelli. Behrman or Gasly? Behrman, actually, there. 3X makes sense this week with Russell and Piastri, Mercedes and Alpine. Oh, that's Helly. I already answered that, so hopefully that helps. Did he already show what he's running this week for a lineup? I have not taken C, but I will get there. I think I'm catching up slowly but surely, or very much not catching up. Okay, what about RB to Alpine? I like that a little bit more than RB to Haas. New FP3. I know it's confusing, but if you were Limitless today, what team would you pick? I think I already said it. I think I said triple McLaren, Leclerc, Russell, Verstappen, and then McLaren versus Mercedes is so tough. I do think the experience of Hamilton and Leclerc will come through. So I guess I'd go with Ferrari over Mercedes. What is the meta? Right now, a lot of people are making the move from Doing to Bortoletto, but we can go on the Twitters and see what is up there. Let's see. That was FPL, so I don't know what's going on in FPL land. But yes, I see there's 107. So I've seen 175 people are on X. So what is up, all you X people? I appreciate you guys watching there. 200, almost 300 people are watching the video, and there's 18 minutes to go. And we're at 90 likes. So let's get that over 100. That would be great. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you can always do that as well. Greatly appreciate it. Is Williams worth a gamble? I don't think so. I don't think so this week. Gorka says, are you going to do the 10 questions in the prediction quiz? Oh my goodness. Great point. Gorka. We can do that. Let's do that for 2 minutes. We're going to blast through this. All right. Make your predictions. Predict the podium. We're going to go with Piastri. We're going to go with Norris. And we're going to go with Leclerc. Who will take pole position? I'm going to go with... I'm going to go Norris. And then I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to change this to Norris, Piastri. There we go. First, second, third. McLaren 1-2. Who will take pole position? I'm going to go with Norris. Who will qualify highest for the Grand Prix? Hadjar's been complaining a little bit. I'm going to go Lawson. Let's switch it up. Let's get some extra points in here. How far? Lance Stroll will not get far at all in qualifying. How many classified finishers? Let's go with 18. I would have gotten this right last week, but then Nico got yes. There will be a VSC car. Who will set the fastest lap? That'll be Lando. Let's see here. Which team will record the fastest pit stop? I think it'll be Ferrari, because I'm pretty sure they've done that at every single one this season. Who will finish the race ahead? Let's get spicy. Let's go Jack. And then who will be ahead in the team standings? Haas or Williams? I think it's going to be Williams. They look really good this week. But I also need to apply my 2X somewhere here. Let's do it. Let's do it there. Next. Finish. Okay, back to home. All right, now back to F1 Fantasy. Having a hard time between Mercedes or Ferrari's Constructor 2. I like Mercedes. Can you check the expected points? Have you switched it up from Mercedes to Red Bull? Expected points. Where are we here? We've got so Mercedes 47.1, Ferrari 45.4. Peyton says, hey, you're thinking you would rather take a potential with Alonso than no price fall guarantee with the board, but the higher potential of DNF and a negative 20. Yes, I think that's where I'm at right now, Peyton. I have Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Behrman, Hadjar, McLaren, and Haas. I have 2 transfers. What should I do? Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Behrman, Hadjar, McLaren, Haas. I have 2 free transfers. I'd get Stroll out of there. Bring in Behrman. Can you go Gasly? Ocon to Gasly? Stroll? Oh, no, you have Behrman. Okay, sorry. You might have to do Haas to Alpine and Stroll to Gasly. Maybe you can do that. Williams to Haas / Alpine. If you were going to do that, I'd do it to Alpine. Helly, I already answered that question. Thank you for your donation. Freddie says, transfer in Haas or Alpine for setup for Limitless. I'd go probably Haas, actually. Benjamin Taylor says, I moved from template and took a -10 to go Ocon to Gasly, Doohan to Albon, Mercedes to Williams. How crazy am I? You're a little bit crazy, Ben, but I don't mind it at all. I have the same team as you. Why not move Merc to Haas and Doohan to Russell? Because I'm not committed to Limitless in Miami right now, Mitchell. So that's where I'm at. In my league, we have a good and a bad team. On my bad team, I have triple Aston Martin, triple kick. Any changes you make? Also, who do you recommend as my fifth driver? The goal is to score low. Triple Aston Martin, triple Lawson? There we go. Jose says Piastri, Albon, Hadjar, Doohan, Ocon, McLaren, Mercedes. Not sure what to change. Thinking Albon to Gasly and Doohan to Behrman or Albon to Russ. Don't like Bordello. What to do? I think I'd go Albon to Gasly. Sorry, Jose. You said you got Doohan to Behrman and Doohan to Bortoletto, so I wouldn't do Doohan to Bortoletto. Did I lock my T1 team? I did not. To answer your question, the only chip I've used is unlimited transfers. Okay, I like that, Cash. Shantae, at this point, are you locked in for Limitless? Are you going to have some flexibility? I think we're going to have some flexibility there. Sean, you seem to be unsure. Doohan plus roll transfer or Alonso? I am... You know what? I still am unsure. 14 minutes to go. I think I'm going to do... You know what? Let's get this done. So, take you inside a little bit of mine. I do like The Sims quite a bit. They are usually okay. And see here, like 0.97. I like this because I don't like Bortoletto. I'm off Bortoletto this week. So, all right, we'll do this. I have the right to change my mind in the last 13 minutes, as I'm looking at the clock right now. But I am at least doing Gasly to Ocon, or Ocon to Gasly. That is one change I am making. I've confirmed that change. So I still have one to go. Concerned that Limitless and Imola will be poor for price rise at Jeddah and Imola as B tier scores are going to be low. Is Miami safer for budget rise predictions despite points delta being worse? Potentially, but Imola will have Miami in its 3 race rolling average. So that's where my thinking is at. Norris, Piastri, Russell, Behrman, Hadjar, and Alpine / Haas a bad move? No, not a bad move, especially if you're on Limitless in Miami. I think Doohan to Alonso is a good idea. One Bortoletto don't run. FP2 problems in FP3. Doohan less points than Alonso in last race, so it's better for future price rise. Yeah. Also, just know it's Zakaka. Sorry. I think I got it right last week, and I didn't get it right this week. Zakaka. I'll probably play Limitless partly since Ham, Antonelli, Sonoa being off the pace makes the top 5 more clear to pick. Yeah, that's a good point, Casper. I didn't think about that. Highest online chance of DNF, Bortoletto. I did Doohan to Alonso and applied no negative in case of Bortoletto, sitting at 30K. I like that, Kobo. I can go Ocon / Mercedes to Lando / Sauber from the template. Worth it to do with 3x of difference? I don't like that, Paper Cranes. Can you show the point requirement Ocon and Gasly need in Miami? Thinking of setting up Limitless this week. Ocon is going to, if he scores 3 points this week, he's going to need 15 in Miami. And if Gasly scores 10 points, he's going to need 11 in Miami. Speaking of chefs in the kitchen, Verstappen was really sparking my interest. He was there for a little bit as well, but kind of fell down at the end of the session a little bit. Pause. Red Bull scores better than Mercedes and Ferrari this weekend. Calling it. I'd like that. Any changes to a McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Gasly, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoletto team? I have 0.4 in the bank. I think you're fine. Hello, hope you had a great day. I have had a great day. I have a great stream. 49 minutes down, 11 more to go. Where do you see the qualifying and race simulation? It's on f1fantasytools.com. Alonso or Doohan? I don't know. That is really tough. Williams, Mercedes boys worth a shot. They look good for point scoring. If you're not worried about budget, I don't mind a Williams punt. Sarah, I'm really sorry. I'm still also on the fence with 10 minutes to go about Alonso versus Doohan. So will you do any changes? I just did. Sorry, I think I'm behind here. Best stroller replacement. What about putting in Haas and Russ? No, I don't like that. Well, I mean, I don't like that for my team, but I probably like it for your team. What about 3x Piastri, 2 times Norris? I think I'd probably go 3x Norris just because it's safer. I had said Doohan got 7th in FP2, but I meant 2nd in feature race. Did you know I am 590th in the world? Great job, Hugo. Love that. Can a driver not change in price? Like, what if they get more than points required for, but less? They will go down 0.2. That is how that will work, Madi. I've got Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Bortoleto, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. Bortoleto concern only have additional 1 million. What should I do? Man, I hadn't considered going Bortoleto up to Doohan, but can you get there? You're short? Ugh, I don't know. What are your predictions in fantasy? I just went through it. What about Red Bull for Limitless? Tsunoda's being distant while Alonso and Hamilton have not really impressed. I don't love it. Is it good Williams weekend on the cards? I think so, but they're just a little bit expensive, so I'm not entirely sure how the budget will go. I'm playing Limitless in Miami. Should I swap Mercedes for Haas and Ocon for Russell just to gain budget? Yeah, I like that, John. You can go for that. No negative. It's just so dry. I'm just waiting for the weather. Trying to only use one transfer this week. Do you think Ocon to Gasly or Doohan to Bordeaux? I think I'm going Ocon to Gasly. I'm locked in. Template change to Alonso and Gasly. No negative. I don't think so. How does the budget for your normal team work when Limitless is used? That is the team. When you use Limitless, if you use Limitless this week, whatever team you locked in for the Bahrain Grand Prix last week, Toby, that is the team that will rise. Alpine or Haas, I'm going Alpine. Locked in here too. No negative. No, I'm not going to use no negative. Is there a similar to F1 Fantasy tool for FPL? There is a gazillion tools for F1 for FPL. It is insane. Piastri doing Hadjar, Alonso, Behrman, Mercedes. Like that. What about Norris, Piastri, Hadjar doing Bortoleto, McLaren, Alpine with 3x on Piastri? I think I'd prefer the 3x if you're talking 3x on Norris. I'm on meta. Should I do one transfer doing to Bortoleto or two and I'd Ocon to Gasly? I'd probably do Ocon to Gasly because that's what I just did. What do you think, Leclerc or Russell? I would go Russell. I'm considering McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Hadjar, Behrman, Gasly, Bortoleto. No negative. No Fernando. No negative. What do you think about template keeping Doohan and replacing Ocon for Gasly with 0.0 remaining? I love that, Heather Bridge. How many people here are running Gasly? It seems like a lot. We are 8 minutes left. Let's get that poll going, I guess. Gasly in or out? In, out. Start poll. Alonso are doing if Limitless in Miami. I'd go Alonso, Williams. They can score points. I don't think they're going to rise that much in budget. My team is McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Doohan, Gasly, Behrman, Hadjar. Thoughts? I like it. I like it a lot. I'm running Gasly and Fred. I have Albon, Piastri, Ollie, Ocon, Hadjar, and McLaren and Racing Bulls. Should I change anything? Maybe Racing Bulls to Alpine. Maramik says, you're not activated. Doohan, Borja, what do you think? Maybe Norris with the 3x is maybe what I said. Gasly and Fred, lock them in. My team is Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Bortoleto, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes, and 0.8 million. Any suggestions? Ocon to Gasly. Is this team your final, or will you sub Doohan for Bortoleto? I don't think I'll sub Doohan for Bortoleto. I might bring in Alonso with there's 6 minutes left. Should I do Doohan and Ocon for Bortoleto and Gasly, or just roll a transfer with Doohan to Bortoleto? Hey, I have Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, and Doohan with Papaya and Mercedes. I was thinking to do just one transfer and doing Gasly for Ocon. I like that a lot. Mercedes to Red Bull. No, I don't like that. Should I replace Haas with Alpine? I think so. I think I'd do it. Hey, buddy, here for more than a year, and I saw you before. How are you doing? I am good. Thank you for joining. Where will Antonelli finish? He will finish 9th. Doohan, Fernando is 50-50. Might just do Doohan just for transfer. I have Zakaka. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I have Norris, Albon, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman, McLaren, Haas. 3 transfers and 3.7 back. Should I change anything? Can you go Hadjar to Gasly? I don't mind that at all. Press like on this live, guys. Yeah, that'd be great. Would very much appreciate that because we are crushing. The views are awesome, and we are over the 50% mark. You guys are crushing it. So yeah. 200 viewers right now, 111 likes. If you haven't liked that, hit that thumbs up button. You will help me out a ton. Or subscribe to the YouTube channel because we're closing in on 2,800 subscribers. And there's 5 minutes to go. I'm not entirely sure how many questions I've answered. I might have to go back and count. I'm not entirely sure if my mouth has stopped moving or making noises for about 54 minutes, except the 30 seconds that I was drinking. Brett, hey, you, and thanks for all your help since starting to catch the guys in my league. Good luck this week. Good luck to you too, Brett. If you use Limitless in Miami and have that role transfer from Saturday, does it still reset after Miami? Yes. Whenever you use Limitless, you'll only have 2 free transfers after that chip activation. I've got Piastri, Norris, Behrman doing Hadjar, McLaren, and Haas. I think I'm good. No transfers needed. Yeah, I think I agree, Tomasi. Let's go Alpine. Don't break our hearts. Yes, please don't break our hearts. Stroll. No Stroll for me. Gasly for Ocon. Or Gasly for Ocon or Gasly for Doohan. Gasly for Doohan. Christopher, 2x Piastri, Russell, Ocon, Behrman, Doohan, Mercedes, and Haas. Should I change anything budget? No, I think you're fine. You're building a good amount of budget. If you have any money to go up to Alonso, maybe I'd do that for Doohan. I'm not entirely sure. Henry, my team is Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Bordello, Hadjar, McLaren, and Mercedes, and 0.8. Any thoughts? Maybe Ocon to Gasly. I will do the same team as you. So Miami, how is the budget? Should I transfer Doohan out? I already have Gasly in what you ran last week. 5 minutes left. I'm starting to feel like I'm so on the fence about what to do with this Jack Doohan, Fernando Alonso, Gabriel Bortoleto thing. Is like, maybe it's just better to do nothing. And like, I'll take my medicine. I'll have 3 free transfers for Miami, and we'll see how it goes there. I don't goof my poor T1 team. I locked in Alonso first, but the good news is I could have additional transfer next week. I don't mind that at all. I think you're fine. Doohan to Alonso is basically choosing to bet on either driver or on the car. Oh, I know. There are 3 rookies. That was a concern. That's why I was thinking on no negative. That's true, but they've also all driven here in like F2 and F3 and stuff like that. Albon or Gasly? Ooh, probably Gasly. I really like the flexibility of lowering the transfer. I do too. Locked in, did a little team just to see. I like that. Let me know tomorrow on the cool down room, guys. I forgot to promote this. But the cool down room, tomorrow, 1 hour after Grand Prix, I will be here. I hope you will be here to join me and break it all down and see what happened in Saudi Arabia. Ocon to Gasly and Racing Bulls to Alpine, 2 transfers in Miami. I like it. Yeah, that's fine. Haas or Alpine? I think I go Alpine. Will Gasly go up after this weekend subject to no DNF? He would need a pretty good weekend, but I think he can do it. Doohan, Bortoleto, and Alonso were the best 2. Oh, Doohan and Alonso. 4 minutes left. I'm locked in. Good luck, guys. I did it. Alonso and Gasly. Pros, cons, Doohan to Alonso. Doohan is going to be slightly sketchy on the price rise in Miami, but could be good after that. And Alonso over here is probably going to go down 0.6, which is tough if he gets his expected points. So we'll see how that goes. Alpine or Haas? I like Alpine. Doohan to Alonso. Yes. 4 minutes left, guys. I did it. I caught up to the chat. Look at that. 2x for Limitless, Norris or Piastri doing it on my T3 team for test. I think I go Norris. I brought in Charles and Ferrari instead of Antonelli and McLaren. Is it wise? I just have a gut feeling Ferrari this weekend. If that's your gut feeling, go for it. Oh my goodness. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got here? Last year's winner is going Limitless this week. That's interesting. I can't. I think I'm just going to take it. I think I'm just going to keep it as is. Oh, I don't think I'm going to do it. Doohan or Bortoleto? I think it's going to be Doohan. I think I'm going Doohan. I'm going Doohan. You should go Doohan. Gasly's in. People are saying that Gasly's in, so that's cool. 74% in. I think I'm rolling. I think I'm rolling the transfer. I'm on double Alpine. What have I done? I'm on double Alpine. Unbelievable. But this is where we're at. I'm not going to have Gabriel Bortoleto. This might mean that I'm not going to Limitless in Miami. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay. We'll be praying for a Jack Doohan miracle. But I believe he can do it. I believe in you, Jack. Justice for Jack, because they stole that 0.6 away from us last week in F1 Fantasy. Doing our Alonso, doing our Ocon. Good luck, guys. Put your faith in Fred. I can't do it, Colin. I think Ryder team, McLaren, blah, blah, blah. Russell, Gasly, thank you. I have the same team as you. Only one transfer, Ocon and Gasly. Enjoy quality. Thank you. 2X, Piastri or Russell? Piastri for sure. Mitchell. And I think that will do it for the stream. We're 13 seconds away. You guys have been awesome. You guys have been great. This has been super fun. Limitless looks good. I think we're locked and loaded. I can't believe I still have Jack Doohan on my team, but that's where we're at. So, thank you to everyone that joined in. Still got 125 of you guys. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, because I will be here tomorrow. I will be here sometime next week. Yeah, because I guess we got a break. But, oh no. Did the stream go down? Okay, I think we came back, but then we went down, and then we came back. But I think that was it. So, oh no, I was still alive, so I survived. But it didn't like that. So yeah, there we're at. So it's officially, we're there. We're done. We're done with this. It is quality time. It is 17:01 o'clock. And yeah, so that will do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Sorry about that last snafu. But yeah, that was crazy. There was a lot of decisions to be made. I can't believe Jack Doohan is still my team. But I did do the one free transfer and roll. So I have 3 free transfers for Miami. That is super exciting. I am very, very much looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Hopefully you join me tomorrow, like I said, for the cool down room tomorrow, 1 hour after the Grand Prix. And yeah, once again, thanks for all the support. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subscriptions. Good luck for the next hour, and good luck tomorrow. I will see you an hour after the Grand Prix. But once again, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, whatever you're doing. And yeah, I will talk to you tomorrow.